The mystery of D.B. Cooper, the man who vanished in the sky. It was the night before Thanksgiving, November 24th, 1971. The world was simpler then. No cell phones, no airport metal detectors, and the skies above America felt safe. But that evening, aboard a Boeing 727 flying from Portland to Seattle, a man known only as D.B. Cooper rewrote aviation history and vanished into legend. He appeared ordinary, mid-40s, clean-shaven, wearing a dark suit, black tie, and a neatly pressed white shirt. He carried a briefcase in a brown paper bag. Nothing about him seemed unusual until he calmly handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. She thought it was just another lonely businessman slipping her his phone number. Without even reading it, she tucked it into her purse. But the man leaned closer and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Schaffner's heart stopped. She opened the note. It was neatly printed, stating that the man had a bomb and wanted her to sit beside him. When she did, Cooper cracked open his briefcase just enough for her to see a glimpse of red cylinders, wires, and a battery. His demands were chillingly simple: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane in Seattle. If his requests were met, he promised to let everyone go unharmed. The pilot, William Scott, immediately radioed air traffic control. The message went up the chain of command, reaching the FBI and local authorities. While the passengers enjoyed drinks and conversation, completely unaware of the unfolding drama, a silent operation began. Banks rushed to gather $200,000 in $20 bills, each one photographed for serial numbers. Parachutes were brought from a local skydiving school. By 5:45 p.m., as Flight 305 circled Seattle to buy time, everything Cooper asked for was ready. When the plane landed, the runway was surrounded by emergency vehicles and FBI agents. Cooper, cool and composed, ordered that the lights be dimmed and the cabin shades drawn. He directed the exchange with calm precision. The money and parachutes were brought aboard, and in return, he allowed all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave. Only 4 people remained with him: the pilot, the co-pilot, a flight engineer, and 1 flight attendant, Tina Mucklow. He then gave new instructions. The plane was to take off again, this time heading toward Mexico City, flying low at 10,000 feet and keeping the cabin unpressurized. It was an odd request, but the crew complied. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper ordered Mucklow to go into the cockpit and stay there. At around 8:13 p.m., as the plane flew over the rugged forests of southwest Washington, the cockpit crew noticed a sudden change in air pressure. Something had opened. The plane's rear air stair door had dropped. When the pilots finally landed in Reno, Nevada, FBI agents stormed the plane, but Cooper was gone. So were 2 parachutes and the entire ransom. He had leapt into the freezing, pitch-black sky, somewhere over the wilderness between Portland and Seattle, never to be seen again. The largest manhunt in U.S. history. The search that followed was unprecedented. FBI agents, Army soldiers, and local police combed the forests of Mount St. Helens and the Lewis River area. They searched rivers, farms, and logging roads, but found nothing. Not a parachute, not a body, not a trace. For the next few weeks, every hotel, airport, and parachute club in the region was questioned. Hundreds of suspects were investigated, but none fit perfectly. The FBI gave the case the name Norjack, short for Northwest Hijacking. The press, in an early error, misreported his name as D.B. Cooper instead of the alias he used on his ticket. The wrong name stuck, and a legend was born. Theories, clues, and strange discoveries. For years, people obsessed over the mystery. Who was D.B. Cooper? Did he survive the jump? The FBI believed he likely died that night. The terrain below was unforgiving: dense forests, freezing rain, and rough cliffs. He had jumped in total darkness, wearing loafers and a business suit. Survival seemed impossible. But others disagreed. The man had asked for 4 parachutes, not 1. That clever detail forced the FBI to assume he might take a hostage, ensuring the chutes were functional and not tampered with. He knew how to control the plane's speed and altitude. This was no random amateur. He might have been a former paratrooper or military pilot. Then, in 1980, a shocking discovery reignited the mystery. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand along the Columbia River, 20 miles from Vancouver, Washington, when he found 3 packets of decaying $20 bills, $5,800 in total. The serial numbers matched the D.B. Cooper ransom money. How did it get there? Had Cooper buried it? Had it drifted downstream from where he landed? No one knew. Decades later, in the early 2000s, researchers tested the bills for environmental evidence. The sediment and decay patterns suggested the money had been buried shortly after the hijacking, perhaps in 1971 or 1972. Yet still, no trace of Cooper himself was ever found. Suspects and imposters. Over the years, more than 1,000 people were questioned. Dozens confessed falsely, some hoping for fame, others seeking attention. But a few suspects stood out. Richard Floyd McCoy, a former Army paratrooper, hijacked a plane in 1972 using almost an identical method and parachuted away with $500,000. He was later caught and killed in a shootout with the FBI. Some believed he was Cooper, but physical differences ruled him out. Dwayne Weber, on his deathbed in 1995, confessed to his wife, "I'm Dan Cooper." She later found evidence linking him to the case: a Northwest Airlines ticket stub, a notebook with cryptic notes, but nothing conclusive. Robert Rackstraw, an ex-Army pilot with a checkered past, became a popular suspect. He had the training, the nerve, and the right age, yet despite strong circumstantial evidence, the FBI couldn't prove it. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closed the case, citing no credible leads. But the legend didn't end there. A modern American legend. The D.B. Cooper story lives on in books, documentaries, and films. He became a symbol of mystery and rebellion, a man who outsmarted the system and vanished into thin air. Every few years, new evidence emerges: shredded parachutes found in woods, mysterious letters mailed to news outlets, and deathbed confessions that lead nowhere. Some theorists insist Cooper survived, started a new life, maybe even spent the money quietly in small increments. Others claim he died in the jump, his remains lost forever in the wild. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Cooper's crime changed aviation forever. Within months, new security measures were introduced: metal detectors, locked cockpit doors, and the Cooper vane, a mechanical device that prevents a plane's rear stairway from being opened mid-flight. No hijacker ever escaped by parachute again. The man, the myth, the sky. More than half a century later, the image of D.B. Cooper remains burned into American culture. The man in the dark suit and tie, calm and confident, stepping into the stormy night sky with $200,000 strapped to his body. No fingerprints, no body, no parachute, no answers. Just a name, a face sketch, and an unsolved mystery that refuses to fade. As the FBI's final report put it, D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved skyjacking case in U.S. history. And maybe that's how it should be,
because every time we look up at a passing jet slicing through the evening clouds, a small part of us still wonders, what if D.B. Cooper made it? What if he's still out there? The sky, after all, keeps its secrets well.